It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us again. Our guest is Steve Rush. Steve is an indoor environmental consultant. As you know, we speak often with people who work in the green fields. And so much of being green is living green, but we talk about recycling, but it's also about health, living in a healthy environment. And that's your focus. Talk to us about how so many people are getting sick because of simply where they live.
Well, yeah, a big culprit is drywall, which makes up most of the wall cavity, most of the walls in the houses today.
Because the drywall is not dry.
Exactly. The drywall gets wet, is the perfect place for the mold to grow.
And let's talk about mold, because it's interesting. I'm not particularly sensitive. Many people are not particularly sensitive to mold. There are others, it's debilitating to them. Explain that. What is mold and why does it cause such debilitating symptoms for certain people?
Well, if you think about it like hay fever, you know, some people can walk into a meadow, no problem, walk out in the field, they're fine. Other people, they start sneezing and hacking and it really affects them. Well, you walk into a meadow for a few hours and you're out of it. But if you live in a house day in and day out and you have a mold allergy, it can be devastating.
How do you know if your house is infected with mold?
Well, a lot of clues. If there's a musty smell, or if you see visible water damage, walls that are buckling or carpet that's wet. If you walk into a room and it feels dank and it feels moisture, if you feel moisture and dampness. Another very common way is if when you go into your house, you have allergic reactions.
You start sneezing.
Yeah.
You start getting congested.
Exactly. And that if you're away from the house on vacation for a while and you're fine, you get back to the house, the same thing happens, the same effects, then you very well may have mold or another problem. So
give us an example of one instance where you saw mold impact someone's health dramatically.
Yeah, here's an example. I've changed the facts a little bit, but a Tai Chi teacher, early 30s, only ate organic food, very healthy, and she began to feel ill. And she had her place checked out, and sure enough, there was windows that were leaking down into the wall cavities. You couldn't see anything.
That's the key. So often you don't know because you can't see it.
Yeah. Well, and she was in this rent-controlled apartment. She'd been there for years, but I said, you really need to leave. I don't say that to people very often, but in her case, she had to get out. Well, when she finally did move, 6 months later, she could hardly walk. She was so affected. And that was 4 or 5 years ago. And she's just now getting healthy enough to resume her normal activities.
If you have a mold problem, can you turn to your home insurer to seek a remedy, generally?
It used to be, it was always covered by insurance, but a few years ago the cases became so prevalent that the insurance companies, some of them have a $5,000 cap.
Oh no.
And some of them don't cover it at all. You need to look at your policy because it's very dependent on what your policy says.
So if you do find a mold problem, what do you do to remediate it? How do you remove the mold?
Well, if you think there may be someone in your family that's sensitive, you really need to get a professional in to make an assessment and then have the assessment will include what to do. And then a professional remediation company will come and do the remediation work successfully.
Does it have to be where you're tearing down walls, or is there a less drastic measure that you can take?
Well, that's where the assessment comes in. The person making the assessment will determine how serious a problem this is. Because remember, a lot of the problems are behind the walls or places you can't see, or in the crawl space.
Okay, other than mold, in our final moments, what other environmental contaminants could be harming us in our homes?
Toxic chemicals. Heating air conditioning systems often create problems, and electromagnetic fields are another big issue. So
would that be your alarm clock?
If it's right close to your bed, possibly yes. Your alarm clock should always be 6 to 8 feet away from where your head sleeps.
Maybe that's the reason I'm going crazy.
Maybe.
Steve, I thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for keeping us healthy in our own homes.
Thank you, Brad. Sure appreciate it.
For Local Edition, I'm Brad Pomerance. Now we're going to send you back to CNN HLN.
At Charter, we know that home really is the perfect place to be, which is why we remain committed to bringing you the best, most reliable services for less. Our family of 16,000 will continue to deliver great entertainment and keep the millions of families we serve connected to the things that matter most. We look forward to bringing your home to life, now and in the years to come.